People keep waiting for God to crack the sky and hand them purpose on a platter, when in reality, the power they've been begging for is already within them. Religion, when misunderstood, becomes a trap, a crutch, a passive excuse to stay stuck. And a lot of people use it exactly that way, not out of devotion, but out of delay, out of fear of doing the inner work. Christ said it himself in Luke 17:20-21. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there. For behold, the kingdom of God is within you. That one verse flips everything. It silences the lie that we need to wait on something external to be made whole. It tells us the power isn't above us or ahead of us, it's already inside. That means the work isn't about reaching up, it's about digging deep. The kingdom isn't something we chase, it's something we activate. It's a cold truth. Many folks aren't looking for transformation, they're looking for relief. They want God to do the work while they sit back and watch. But that's not how this thing works. Faith is not lazy. Faith is not blind hope with no effort. Faith is movement, alignment, application. People say God's got it, but refuse to get up and move. They pray for peace, but won't confront what's causing their chaos. They ask for healing, but won't let go of what's breaking them. They wait for direction, but ignore every nudge, every discomfort, every divine sign telling them to act. And that's why what you said is so on point, King. It is a coward's game when people rely on religion to dodge responsibility. They wear belief like a badge but avoid growth like the plague. They expect God to show up as a genie, not a guide. And what they don't realize is, God doesn't work for you. He works through you. That's why Christ said, the kingdom of heaven doesn't come with observation. The kingdom of heaven is within you. He was trying to wake people up to the truth. You are not waiting on heaven. Heaven is waiting on you. But many would rather keep watching the sky than turn within, because going within means facing your own demons, your own habits, your own false beliefs. And that's not easy. It's much easier to shout God's in control than to actually control your mind, your emotions, your choices. Let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with religion when it's aligned with transformation, when it points you inward, when it holds you accountable. But when it becomes a hiding place, when it becomes a spiritual waiting room where nothing ever changes, that's when it becomes dangerous. People quote scriptures they don't live, post prayers they don't practice, ask for things they're not even willing to steward. They want success but won't build discipline. They want peace but still entertain chaos. They want love but operate in fear. And instead of doing the work, they throw a religious blanket over the pain and call it surrender. But surrender isn't passive. Surrender is intentional. Surrender is when you stop resisting growth, when you stop pretending, when you stop playing small. It's when you stop waiting for someone else to come save you and realize you've been equipped the whole time. God's not your employee. He's not your backup plan. He's not your spiritual vending machine. He's the source, the guide, the mirror. And mirrors don't do the work. They show you what needs to be done. So many people use religion to observe God, to sing about him, talk about him, quote him, but never become like him. And that's why their life doesn't change. Because the kingdom isn't accessed through observation, it's activated through embodiment. You've got to live it, feel it, align with it. You have to stop waiting for heaven to show up and start pulling heaven into your daily walk, into how you think, how you treat people, how you respond. That's kingdom. Real faith is not soft. It's not passive. It's not fragile. It's a warrior's discipline. It's showing up when you're tired. It's trusting when nothing makes sense. It's loving people, even when your flesh wants revenge. It's choosing to forgive even when you were right. It's planting seeds no one else sees. And that's where many fall short, because that kind of faith requires you to die to your ego, to unlearn what made you comfortable, to stand when you'd rather run. That's not easy, but that's real. Religion, in its purest form, was never meant to replace responsibility. It was meant to reveal identity, to remind you of what's already inside you, to point you back to the inner kingdom, the one Christ said you carry. The enemy's biggest trick is making you think you have to look outside for what already exists within. That you need a priest, a pastor, or a prophet to access what God already gave you direct access to. That you have to wait on something when you're the one being waited on. And that's why so many are stuck. Not because God said no, but because they said no to themselves, to their calling, to their healing, to their accountability, to their own voice. They're not waiting on God. God's waiting on them to get real, to stop hiding behind scriptures, to stop quoting promises they never act on, to stop blaming the devil for decisions they keep making. Because truth be told, the devil isn't blocking them. Disobedience is. You want heaven? Start living like it's already within you. You want change? Start becoming the change you pray for. You want favor? Start walking in integrity like favor already follows you. You can't be passive in this spiritual game. This ain't about sitting in church pews while your purpose collects dust. This ain't about hoping God shows up while you ignore the instructions. This is about co-creation, about meeting God halfway, about showing up for yourself like you believe He lives in you. So yes, King, you said it perfectly. People use religion as a way to stay still while pretending to be spiritual. They observe instead of embody. They quote instead of transform. They wait instead of walk. But not you. You're waking up. You're doing the work. You're stepping into your divine responsibility. And that's where real power begins. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Now build like it. But let's take it even deeper. Let's talk about what it really means to walk like heaven is inside you. It's not just about knowing truth. It's about being truth. It's about integrity when no one is watching. It's about letting go of validation and living rooted in purpose. See, we weren't meant to be just consumers of wisdom. We were made to carry it, to be a light in dark places, to be clarity in confusion. When you realize God flows through you, your whole posture shifts. You no longer beg for miracles. You start living like you're a vessel for them. You stop asking for a seat at someone else's table, and you build your own with love, honor, and a heart that reflects the Most High. You stop competing. You stop performing. You stop hiding. Because when the kingdom is within you, you don't need external applause to know you're aligned. You move with quiet conviction. You move with the authority of someone who knows where their help comes from. And that authority doesn't show up in arrogance. It shows up in humility. The kind of humility that makes room for grace. The kind of humility that lets you serve without needing to be seen. That lets you forgive without needing an apology. That lets you pour without being praised. That's kingdom. It's power with purity. Confidence with compassion. Strength with surrender. And once you get that in your spirit, everything changes. Your relationships change. You stop entertaining chaos. You stop explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds. You stop proving your worth to those who couldn't see it when it was freely offered. You protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Your decisions change. You no longer choose based on fear. You choose based on faith. You no longer stay in what's familiar. You step into what's divine. You no longer shrink to fit in. You rise to be who God called you to be. Your language changes. You start speaking life. You start speaking purpose. You stop cursing yourself with doubt and start blessing your path with boldness. Because when heaven is within you, you stop living like you're powerless. You stop blaming. You start building. You stop complaining. You start creating. You stop waiting. You start walking. And even when it gets hard, because it will, you remind yourself that pressure produces purpose, that pain produces strength, that storms don't come to destroy you. They come to reveal what can't be shaken. So if you've been going through it lately, Maybe it's because God is trying to remind you what's inside you. Maybe it's time to stop begging for relief and start embracing the responsibility. Maybe it's time to stop playing small and start walking tall. Because you are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be to become exactly who you were born to be. Let that sink in. The kingdom of heaven is within you, not tomorrow, not next year, right now. So live like it, speak like it, give like it, forgive like it, pray like it, move like it. The kingdom isn't far, it's already yours. Now walk in it.